Okay, great. Thank you. Good morning, Coach Anderson. How are you?
Morning. I'm good.
Thanks, as always, for joining us. Coach, we're going to get right to questions. Our first questions will be from Alan Blondin with the Sun News.
Yeah, hey, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. What you got?
Good. You guys have won back-to-back conference titles, been to 3 bowl games in a row. If you can, how does this current team shape up with those past teams of yours as far as experience, talent, et cetera?
Well, our biggest deficiency right now is experience. We've got a lot of new bodies. We graduated a really big senior class. I think we had 28 seniors last year that had played a lot of ball, and so we've got basically half our offense and half our defense are guys that have not played before. Now, athletically, I mean, it's a really athletic team. We're longer and bigger and maybe even faster in some areas than we've been, but we just haven't played very much, and most of our mistakes in the first few games have come out of inexperience, and we're trying to battle that and get better quickly, and trying to eliminate mistakes. So I love the team chemistry and the team that we have. It's just the frustrating part is how quickly can they grow up, and can they grow up fast enough to continue to win games in a conference that I think has gotten so much better in recent years. I mean, I think everybody's competitive.
Okay, Coach, just to follow up, obviously Coastal's new to the league and new to FBS. What challenge do you think they may pose for you, obviously, just moving up to this level?
Well, part of that is just the unknown. We haven't seen them. We've seen everybody else in our league and have pretty good familiarity with them in terms of style of play and even just the talent level, just as a group that we've never seen before. The offense that they run with the system, it creates a lot of problems in terms of the triple option and the motions and the different sets. Defensively, I think they give you some looks that are kind of unique in the way they squirm their corner into the boundary and their willingness to play some man coverage and blitz you. So there's definitely some challenges in playing them that you don't see every week. And like I mentioned earlier, I mean, we're kind of our own worst enemy at times. We're so inexperienced and have made so many mistakes in the first few weeks of the season that that we're still just battling, trying to be consistent, ourselves. Not to mention then having to defend things and having to play against looks that are unique to the triple option and then some of the things that they're doing defensively.
If I could have one quick follow-up to that, just how advantageous do you believe it is to have the extra days, having played on Wednesday, to prepare for an unknown opponent?
Yeah, I think it helps. We've been through the midweek games before, and the extra days are always a benefit as compared to the short weeks where you play on a Thursday night. And we've got a couple guys that are beat up. It helps us get those guys healthy, and then maybe a day or two extra of practice for some unique looks are always beneficial, especially when you're talking about guys that haven't played very much. So we'll try to use those to our advantage. Love the fact that we got them at home. I mean, they got to come to us. I'd much rather like them, have them come at our place than us having to travel down there.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Sure.
Thank you, Alan. Our next questions come from Luke Matheson with RedWolfReport.com.
Hey, Coach, I know Justice had the turnovers the other night. How much of that was mistakes and how much of it was just his injury? And second part of that is how is he feeling coming off that injury as well?
Well, he feels great. We practiced yesterday, and he really looked the best he's looked, since the injury. Didn't have any discomfort at all, and would say, he would tell you he's 100%, which is what we expected at least at some point during this week going into the game. He didn't have any setback the other night, and it obviously did hamper him. He wasn't as mobile. We didn't run him at all. He had to pull the ball a couple times, but mainly he just really couldn't turn on the ball like he's used to, and it caused him to struggle with ball placement a few times. Now, there's still no excuse to turn the balls over as much as we did, but there were a couple that I thought were really good plays by the defense, caused by pressure up front and guys making plays in the back end. But there were a couple balls that just literally got away from him because he could not get his body in the position that he needed to deliver the ball on the hands. And he's been extremely accurate all year. and he wasn't the other night. And he would tell you just he did not feel like he could turn on the ball like he wanted to, and it did affect him. And we feel like we moved past it. We're fortunate to have won a game with him not at his best, and feel like we'll have him at 100% this week.
Are there any other guys you're expecting to get back this week?
It's still day-to-day on some guys. I think, Brandon Biner's has been struggling with a leg injury. Jonah Hill is still day-to-day as to whether or not he could be back. D-Liner is one of those guys that we expect him to be able to practice, at least on a limited basis on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're pretty fortunate. It's mostly minor bumps and bruises, but still some guys that are battling nagging, kind of in-season injuries.
Right. I know coming into this game, there's a lot of talk about Javon and how he hadn't had a sack with everything that he's done in the previous seasons. Finally got him a couple, including the strip sack. Is he kind of relaxed now, be able to kind of pin back and go for it now?
Yeah, I think he's getting more and more comfortable in the role that he's going to have to play. I mean, he's getting double-teamed on almost everything. Guys are sliding protections to him. They definitely know where he's at. You don't come out there wearing jersey number 11 after his career and expect people to not be aware of you. And, he's been frustrated, but at the same time just continue to work. And you saw he defeated double teams all night the other night and still made big plays when we needed him to. I think also he's created pressure that has allowed other guys to make plays, and he's got to understand that that's still part of his job. If he can't make the play, then maybe he can force guys into the play and understand it may not be about the stats. He's not a stat guy. I mean, obviously he wants to leave a great legacy, and he's going to. And anytime you get a chance to break a record, especially a national record, you'd love to do that. But main thing first, he just wants team success, and he'll tell you that.